There she is, guys. That beautiful woman you've been wanting to speak with. You start to walk across the room and all of a sudden, back of your head, you're wondering, oh my gosh, what is she gonna notice? What is she gonna pick up on about me before I even open my mouth? Guys, in today's video, the first 10 things a woman notices about a man. Women do notice shoes. Actually, all human beings notice shoes. And the reason we pick up on it is more cultural and historical. Going back over the last couple thousand years, shoes were one of the clear indicators of a person's wealth and social status. Historically, the only men that could afford really nice leather shoes were those with money. And just look around, look at anyone's footwear. What does that tell you about them? You're gonna find a lot of men that are working outside. What are they wearing? Work boots. So that tells you a little bit about them. If you're a consultant, if you work in the banking industry, if you're a lawyer, you've got a particular pair of shoes that go with your suit. If I'm out running, if I'm going to the gym, my shoes are probably going to indicate that. Now, of course, we know this is not 100% accurate. There are many people without wealth that are wearing really nice shoes. There are guys out in California walking around barefooted with those barefoot looking shoes that are worth millions. But the reality is shoes are still something that a lot of women look at and they notice and they do pay attention. All right, he's got a little bit of style. Those are interesting. Those help him stand out from the crowd. The next thing a woman's going to notice about a man are his movements. So one of the first things we learned in the military is if you set off a trip flare, stop moving. The reason being is the human eye is very good at detecting that movement, and the more rapid the movement is, the easier it is to spot. Well, when it comes to engaging a woman, you want to have slow, smooth movements. You don't want to trigger her flight or fight response by moving at her quickly or coming off as nervous or unsure. So be careful of the twitching, be aware of any nervous tics that you may have, or the spinning of a pen with your fingers. Now, in this case of going up to speak to a woman or at least getting closer to her, you do want to move, but you want your movements to be slow. You want them to be steady. You want to think you're going to be moving like a panther instead of moving way too quick like a nervous madman that could trigger a fight or flight response when all of a sudden she's seeing a really nervous guy come right at her. The next thing a woman's going to notice is body shape and proportions. Now, in general, women are attracted to men whose shoulders are wider than their hips. However, if you don't have the body of Adonis, don't let it worry you. Studies have shown that for most women, physical proportions are not actually as important as they are to men, but still you want to put your best foot forward, and that's why I recommend you wear clothing that works for your body type. Example, if you've got narrower shoulders or a little bit more weight around the midsection, wear a sports jacket. Wear an unstructured shirt jacket. Wear a jean or a leather jacket. What we're looking to do is build up the shoulders, slim up the waist profile, and elongate the torso. These things right here help you look more masculine, therefore more attractive. Now, another big advantage of a jacket is it has longer sleeves. Longer sleeves also help to draw attention to the hands. So it's a very primal thing. We see this in apes as well, but whenever females are being approached by males, they are looking at their hands and where they are. Straight up, based off the positioning of your hands, she can tell very quickly, are you a threat or are you friendly? By wearing a jacket, your hands are a lot easier to spot, and depending on the fit of the sleeves, it can even make your hands look larger. And a lot of women do look for men with larger hands.
Women.
And right with that, let's talk about posture. So when you're standing, stand up straight, roll the shoulders back. It pushes out the chest. It just makes you look stronger and more masculine. A lot of guys, because, constantly looking on our phones, our head is down. Or maybe you just simply feel like you need to shrink up and take less space. All of these things right there are sending signals that you are of lower status, that you're trying to hide yourself. It doesn't mean you are, but it is a signal you're sending. And why send mixed signals, especially when you're wanting to attract people, you're wanting people to come up and talk with you, you're wanting to grab her attention. Now, what about eye contact, and are you able to keep it? Now, women use eye contact all the time is a very subtle way of showing that they're interested, or at least they like what they're seeing. As guys, we're sometimes a little bit more direct. We even get caught staring. But a lot of us have the bad habit of immediately looking down. I personally think it's a great exercise for any man out there to, whenever you make eye contact with people, to give them a smile. And make sure it's a genuine smile. But the goal here is to put the other person at ease. Yes, you've both noticed each other, and now you acknowledge them with a a friendly gesture. Now at this point, you're getting a little bit closer, and as you smile, she's probably going to notice your teeth. Now you don't have to have perfect teeth, but you do want to make sure that you take care of your teeth, that they are relatively white. They don't have to be pristine, but women do take oral hygiene very seriously, probably in the same way that we do. I mean, seriously, do you want to lock lips with a woman that's got poor oral hygiene? Yeah. This one seems like a no-brainer, but take care of your teeth, scrape and brush your tongue, use a mouthwash, use a breath freshener. Yeah, make sure you're not scaring people away with that breath. Now, really quick, let's talk facial hair. Maybe you've got a handlebar mustache, you're completely shaven, or you got a full-on beard. The key with any of these styles is to make sure your grooming on your face is well taken care of. So if you shave daily, you get irritation, make sure you're using an aftershave balm that helps get rid of the irritation. If you've got a beard, as you know, some women aren't going to like it. Other women are going to be drawn to it. In any case, make sure it's taken care of. You're well groomed. You clean up around the neck area, you've got it trimmed. Now, you might have heard that some women are attracted to stubble. That is true. The studies on that are pretty clear. But here's the thing, that stubble isn't just wild stubble. That is actually well-groomed stubble. It's consistent around the face and is actually more of a groomed look than just the result of forgetting to shave for about 3 or 4 days. Be well-groomed. Don't let the forest on your face get out of control. Next up, let's talk about clothing and accessories. Now, as you guys know from my channel, I'm more of a classically styled guy, but I get that. Not every guy is like this. A lot of you guys are street style. Some of you guys are going to be more rockabilly, or you've got your own look. The thing is, put some thought into it. And I do think it's a huge advantage if you stand apart from the crowd. I'm not saying you got to be outlandish, but I am saying if you got a bit of style, a bit of flair, it's going to be something that all of a sudden she's going to wonder, who is that guy? And you've got to own this. This is probably the most important part here, is have confidence in what you're wearing. Now at this point, some of you guys are probably saying, well, Antonio, is there a particular style that is going to attract the ladies more than others? I'd have to say there isn't. There are so many options here, guys, and so many women like different types of guys. So I would just go with your natural style, but step it up, maybe half a degree, but beyond that, all of a sudden it's going to put you outside of your comfort zone. That's what you don't want to do. And I know at this point, some of you guys are saying, well, Antonio, I always just wear a t-shirt, jeans, and running shoes. If that's the case, come on, you've been watching my channel for a while. Guys, step up your daily wear, because here's the thing. You never know when you're going to be making that first impression. That's what I love to see, when you can leverage style and use it to your advantage. And by the way, if you're interested in this, you want a step-by-step course that breaks this out, you're looking for a community of like-minded warriors, of men just like you who are looking to improve themselves, well, gents, you need to check out what we're doing over at Health, Wealth, Purpose. This is a community and coaching program that I've put together where men like you stop drifting and start designing the life of their dreams. We focus on the core aspects of health, of wealth building, and finding purpose and direction in life. Again, gents, if this sounds interesting, check out the link. I'll put it in the description. I've got a lot more information there, or just go over to healthwealthpurpose.com. Next up, let's talk about social interactions. And this one's pretty big, and I think the most important one here to understand is the way other people treat you. She's going to pick up on this. So if you walk into a club, you walk into a bar, you walk into a party, and everybody knows you, or at least it seems like everybody knows you, and they're treating you like you are the man, she's going to assume that you are the man. Now, there are tricks and tips to actually make this happen. One is to actually have spotted out the place, to go to places you're familiar with, to actually know people. But I know the people that walk into places, they don't know anyone, but they immediately talk to the bartender, get his name, start joking around, having a good time, and then they move and they start just talking with other people. An hour later, they have already, talked with, 5 to 10 other people who have already shown her that this is somebody that other people are approving of. And this is key, because a lot of women are looking at it from a safety perspective. And what better way to know that this guy is safe, that he has been approved of other people, even if she doesn't know them. It also displays your conversation skills. The fact that you were able to have multiple conversations, all of this is warming you up. And all of this is learnable, guys. It isn't something that we're born with. We practice, we put in the effort, and all of a sudden you become better once you've put in the reps. Now, when you're talking with her, she's going to pay attention to a number of things. First up, your mannerisms, the way that you talk, the way that you move, the way that you treat others. Maybe you guys are at the bar. She's going to look at the way that you treat the bartender, the way that you talk to others. Now, up to this point, I've talked about clothing on and off, but as you get closer, she's going to start to look at the entire outfit, basically your style. Now, there's a couple different schools of thought here. Some guys think that you need to wear what's known as a peacocking piece. This is something that helps you stand out from the crowd, that draws attention to you. I'm not a big fan of that theory. I don't want guys wearing a costume or wearing a piece that, in a sense, becomes, hey, that's the hat guy, or that's the guy with the bright shoes. No, instead, what I encourage is find your own personal style. Whether you want to go with a classic style, whether whether you want to go with a street style, maybe you're into prep style, goth, biker style, Starboy, clean aesthetic, K-pop. I don't know, because I don't know you, I don't know your style, but I do know that when you find clothing, it makes you feel like $1,000,000. Every time you put it on, you feel more confident. That's the type of clothing you want to be wearing because people pick up when people are comfortable in their own skin. And that's what a woman's going to notice. When you are authentically dressed, you're being yourself, even in a crowd of people that are dressed very different, but you're comfortable because you know who you are, you know what you represent. I know some of you guys are watching in San Antonio. Why don't you just be yourself? Well, guys, I think that's horrible advice. And I talk about it in this video right here. It's a video I put out a few years ago, but it is a solid video about why being yourself is some of the worst advice you could ever take. Seriously, check it out. Good video, guys. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Boom.